As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Gotcha.
Our new president has declared on day one of his presidency that our country will no longer recognize any gender aside from male or female. As a non-binary person who lives in the United States of America, I'm a New Yorker. I live in New York. I'm not going anywhere. I love this city.
We don't care.
Let me tell you. We don't care.
All right. Okay. So if I'm no longer a human, legally speaking, of course, I might as well have fun. I might as well have fun. If I'm no longer legally a human, what does that make me? Something else? Something scary? Do I scare you? Okay. I might as well be the monster you've made me. But nah, I can't. I'm not a monster. I'm actually full of love. There's a lot of uncertainty in the air, and one thing I do know for sure, one thing I am certain about, is that fun and interesting, weird, crazy-looking makeup brings me a lot of joy. I love doing this. And I know that it brings a lot of other queer people a lot of joy. So how am I spending my day this inauguration day? I am gonna go commiserate with my fellow queer people at my favorite lesbian bar, ready for the circus.
This is delusional.
Let's get one thing straight here. Do I scare you? No. 2, just because people don't want to follow this ideology, this crazy ideology they have, they think everyone hates them. When that's not the case at all. Just because people don't agree with you doesn't mean that you can go on this rant saying that the world hates you and all this shit.
You all will not stop the transition of our people. I don't care how much you talk. I don't care how much you have conversations, but I want you to understand, we exist. We're not going nowhere, and you all are not going to stop shit. We're going to make sure that our youth, that our siblings get everything that they deserve. Why? Because our ancestors put us in place to make sure that shit happened. Thank you.
The thing is, you can look how you want, say what you want, dress how you want, act how you want, whatever. But at the end of the day, you are who you are. You can't change that. You're still a brother.
Good job, my brother.
Do you think there should be more than two genders in America?
Yeah, I don't know what that executive order means. I don't know what the president declared.
It means there are two genders, male and female. Do you disagree with that?
How many genders are there, Harry?
Yeah,
Come on, little guy. How many genders are there?
Again, these guys don't know what they're talking about, so they won't be able
Harry,
to
how many genders are there?
How many genders are there, Harry?
How many genders are there?
What's the legal? I'm gonna use Joe Biden's answers. At least two. At least two. That satisfies.
Well, how many more other than male, female?
That's a TikTok answer.
There's at least two.
Yeah.
There's at least two.
Well, no, hang on. There's male and female.
Kid is like human brain
Donald
rot.
Trump says there's male and female. There are two.
Okay, Dave,
how many
Russian
more
Rubin,
are
come
there
on now.
after male and female, Harry?
None.
There's at least two. Now, anyway, let me get back to
what
what I was
at
saying.
least
How many
two?
more are there?
What are the other ones?
There's at least two.
What are
There's
the
at
other
least
ones?
two.
Harry, let's
with
try it this way.
executive order,
You're a
what's the legal
female. What is the other gender?
It's so funny. It's so funny how these conservatives just get time to lie on this show, but when I'm speaking, they all
We
interrupt
asked a
and there's no
damn
problem.
question.
You've just been asked a very
And
simple
I'm trying to
question,
have a
Harry.
conversation with
How many
Pierce, not you,
genders there
Mr.
are?
Combe over. Relax for me.
Harry,
Take a
you
breather.
simply
Thank
got
you so
asked
much.
if there are at least two genders, how many more
Wait,
are there
Piers.
than male and female?
Piers, you asked me about Donald Trump's executive order. I'm trying to.
The hospital called. Your test results came back positive. You're a stage 5 dumbass.
This guy is a donor, and whoever this guy's father is, you failed in that department. This guy really tries to sound intellectual and tries to articulate on things he says, but he can't tell you the answer to a question a flipping 2-year-old could answer. What a donut.
Guys, I messed up. I messed up.
Okay.
So I had a kid on Monday. They said their pronouns were she, her. Then on Wednesday, yesterday, they came to me and they said, you know what? My pronouns are they, them. I want you in the class to use they, them. Okay, cool, great. They come to class today. There's names on desks in groups for assigned seats. They can't find theirs because I guess my first class knocked it off. So I go to the class. Hey, is she in anyone's group? Does anyone see her name? It took me 5 minutes to realize what I did.
What'd you do?
So, someone asked a question yesterday. What do you do when you mess up? Well, we all mess up. So what I did when they were sitting by themselves, I approached them and said, I screwed up, didn't I? And they said, yep. And I said, I am so sorry. That is completely 100% my fault. I apologize. I will not get it wrong moving forward. Please know I heard you when you told me your pronouns, and I will get it right. That was totally my bad. I apologize.
This is some crazy shit, man. And this is going on in the schools. Education is already confusing as it is, and kids have got to listen to all this waffle as well. This stuff should be kept out of schools. What people do as adults is up to them. But forcing ideologies on kids is mad. And she's apologizing for calling a girl by what she is, a girl. She. Man. I'm glad I grew up with some normality in the flipping schools, man.
Did y'all hear Trump is paying $7,000 to turn an immigrant in? Maria, you gotta go, Maria. Trump looking for you.
Damn.
No.
Dang.
Is Trump right that there's only two genders? And should we just categorically acknowledge that here, do you think?
I mean, yeah, it's just basic science in my head.
Yep.
I know some people disagree very strongly, but there's a man and a woman. It's as simple as that. Everything else is mental illness.
As simple as that.
Everything else is mental illness.
Trans people have existed for as long as human history. I'm sure they think they have. Do you know how much we spend on education in this country a year?
I have no idea, actually.
Like hundreds of billions. And yet your kid will come out of school and being like, oh, I don't know how many.
I don't understand why a Republican government that is supposed to keep its nose out of people's, but a small government to keep out of people's bedrooms, now thinks it's going to be so small and nimble that it's going to go inside people's brains.
Okay, but the problem was the previous government had made all these genders available, which was creating this massive bureaucracy.
Why can't you just let people get on with their lives?
Let me explain to you.
You don't have to agree with it.
Let me explain.
Yeah, exactly, mate. We agree. Why can't you let people get on with their lives? Why does everyone have to agree with your ideology? This guy was definitely crying at the TV when Trump won, that's for sure.
Explain to you why this is an important stance. Because of this transgender ideology nonsense, you have enabled a space where biological men, regardless of their intentions, have been able to legally and personally come into the spaces of women that we have fought for decades to protect ourselves from. I'm sorry if you think that you're a man, woman, tree, fox, or pizza. You do not get the right to enter a space that is not corresponding.
This guy's gone through his whole life wrapped in cotton wool, and the woman who was speaking at the end is completely right. These people who go into like female sports, for example, they got smoked by all the dudes. They probably came last in every race, and when they found out they could go into women's sports and dominate, they actually felt like somebody. They felt like somebody for once in their life. And I'm happy to see that Trump isn't going to allow male and females to compete against each other anymore, because the fact that even happened in the first place is flipping wild.
Got my gender changed on my driver's license in the free fucking state of Florida. My God, Ron DeSantis would be screaming right now if he knew about this. This little license now says female on it. It doesn't. I can't show you because then you would know way too much about me, but it says female. This was the last step in changing all of my documents. This was not easy. You're not even supposed to be able to do this in this state. Here's the loophole. Here's the loophole. Listen up. If you're replacing your driver's license, not renewing it, but replacing it because you lost it, they have to take all of your information from what they consider.
All I'm going to say is, mate, when it comes, the day's coming for all of us. When they put the tag on the toe, you know, that day when you pass on to the next life, they're going to have you as a male. So you can go through your whole life saying you're somebody, but when that time comes and science is paramount, you're going to have your name on the toe tag with male underneath it, with a line, big line underneath it.
A primary document. A passport is considered a primary document, and you can self-identify on your passport, which means, loophole, you can self-identify on your Florida fucking driver's license. So my passport says female, and I showed it to them, and they made a bunch of copies, and they had a whole fucking team meeting in the back. I shit you not, there were 8 people that were like looking at it, looking at me, looking back, and I swear I was like, I just felt like I was gonna cry. It's so humiliating sometimes to be in a hostile state. Like if you live in a hostile state, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know how possible it is to do this in every other red state. I don't know the loopholes everywhere else as well as I know them here. Then on the way out of the DMV, a guy rolled down the window of his Ford F-250 and yelled, "Nice dick," at me. So, you know, good things don't last forever, but that license is gonna last 10 years. I am wishing all trans people a positive and easy get your documents in order December. And Ron DeSantis, you can suck my trans.
Watch your profanity.
The funniest part about this is transgender activist brags about exploiting loophole to change gender on Florida license. State then sends letter thanking him for exposing the error before reverting the change.
It's called congratulations, you played yourself.
Sore loses! Sore loses! Shut the fuck up! Sore loses! Sore loses! Shut the fuck up! Sore loses! Sore loses! Sore loses! Shut the fuck up! Sore loses! Sore loses! Shut the fuck up!
This guy's having a great time.
Sore loses! Shut the fuck up! Sore loses! Sore loses! Sore loses! Sore loses! Fair and square, baby!
This is
fair and square! Fair and square! Fair and square!
This is
Fair and square!
democracy looks like!
Fair and square! Sore loses!
This is what democracy looks like!
Yeah!
1 million votes! Dude.
Sore loses!
1 million
That's right!
votes!
You lost!
1 million
You
votes!
lost! You lost!
You're gonna
You
live with
fucking
it.
lost!
You're gonna live
And
with
you
it.
lost!
You're gonna live with
Sore
it.
lose! You're gonna live with it too! We've been doing this for always American history! You lost! Good night! Good night! Good night! You lost! You lost!
Guys, the next 4 years, it's going to look a whole lot like this, isn't it? And I know I'm not American. I have a lot of American viewers, and you guys be on my case to make these videos, so I'm doing it especially for you guys. And whoever you voted for, you've got to admit that these videos are kind of funny.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say this as nicely as I physically can, and then I'm going to move on, because I don't know how else to say this.
Okay.
But I don't want to live in your world of mental illness anymore. And I don't really think the average Canadian, North American, whoever wants to live in that world either. There's nothing wrong with thinking that secure borders are a good idea. There's nothing wrong with liking Pierre Poilievre. There's nothing wrong with being critical of gender theory. There's nothing wrong or evil about suggesting maybe we don't hand out free drugs to addicts. There's nothing wrong with these common sense opinions and ideas. They don't make you a Nazi white supremacist.
Right.
They just make you a normal person. And the only reason why anybody hides those opinions is because they're scared of being referred to as a bad, evil person by the mentally ill. I don't want to live in that world. And I know a lot of people don't want to either.
No.
We can disagree. Like, if someone says something dumb, I'm going to say something nice and shuffle on, because I don't have time for that. And I don't think anyone else does either.
Yeah, and on top of that, I just can't respect people who just bow to opinions and what they hear on TV because they don't use their brain to think about their own logical belief. You know, when someone believes otherwise, but they say it anyway for the cameras or the paycheck. You know, people who say what they believe, regardless if I agree with it or not. If someone stands on their beliefs, I respect it. People ignore the truth. They just seek comfort in lies because they don't want to get shamed for it. But eventually, you've just got to grow up, man.
Grow up. Grow up. Yeah, you grow up.